are wounded or veterans who died in battle.
Mostly correct, but there was one key word you used in there that is not correct. Anybody want to correct or add on to what Brayton said?
Is it for those who fought in battle, not just the ones that died?
Nope. It's only for those who died.
Okay.
It's to remember and honor those who died for our country.
That it's one answer that I will accept. It's really for those people who gave all. They didn't become veterans because unfortunately they never made it to that point. And a lot of people who are veterans, they're celebrated, they're recognized on Memorial Day. So you see a lot of Memorial Day parades, a lot of people saying thank you for your service. And not that it does any disservice to anybody in particular, because the people who died, they can't be disrespected, right? Because they're gone. But their family members, and some of them are people who are missing in action, have never been found. They take exception to the fact that these people don't get the one day that's been designated for their service sacrifice, that they are still kind of mixed up with people who are veterans. Veterans Day is on November 11th every day, Armistice Day. And I think there's a way to recognize everybody who served and thank them for their service. But for Memorial Day, Dakar Foundation has been working to create a campaign where we can actually set the stage for people to show stories and talk about all the things that will recognize these guys in a more direct way, so they can get their flowers and their respect. So we won't be able to do that this year. We have too many other things going, but as long as I'm alive and as long as that car is going, we'll be planning for 2026 to do a Memorial Day program so that we can, again, provide more clarity and facts about the one day of the year where everything should stop and give these guys their recognition and give them their flowers. So, um, as many people said, I'll land my plane there. So, guys, if you can, I want to give the floor to Shoni, who has been in discussion with me about some new updates on things that we've been talking about. More specifically, we've been talking about, and I think Kayla's been working with Shoni on this, is what we can do to develop a pilot project that we can all work on and use all of our skills and talents to work on to present to our sponsors, our benefactors, and all the people that are going to help us make this thing, this one project, crystallize. And we thought about a democratic process of putting things into a system of where people could submit and then we vote on it. But as we get closer to some new updates, I think I'm going to make an undemocratic decision to go with something that will meet the needs of helping us get our sponsors and these new partners closer to something that they can actually look at and potentially help us either construct it or deconstruct it. And then we'll have a chance to learn, document from them in that process who they are and how they can impact us on something that they believe can help us get to the marketplace, not only of ideas, but to get to something to the marketplace of things that could actually make us all a little more money and give us IMBD credits that we can all be proud of. So the goal here is really to do nothing different, but to make sure that we all have a successful way to engage our stakeholders, our partners, our mentors, and some of these people are instructors, and some of them even are alumni. But all you guys are going to be the focal point, because if you don't agree that this is something that you can see yourself in, we'll need to know. and won't say that we'll adjust it for you guys, but we need your voice, and we certainly want your opinion because without that, we won't have anything to document or even to learn from. So this is the goal for every single person to really use their voice, their opinions. Everybody has an opinion, and we know what opinions are, and they're things that everybody has. But we want your opinions now to become potential stories, content, and marketing collateral for all of us to be able to work together on, so that we can give everybody a chance to become the editor in chief of your story, your project, and all the processes to get it from ideation to innovation to the marketplace. So without further ado, I want to introduce, well, you guys that don't know Shoni, I'm going to have him introduce himself. And Shoni, if you can introduce yourself a little bit about how we've met and kind of some context to, what we want to do that we haven't been able to do in almost 8 years since we've known each other. And then come up with, if you can, maybe even Kayla can fill in about an idea that you've come up with that we hope to become a real project or product, not a project, a product that we can rally around. So without
All
further
right,
ado,
awesome.
Joni.
Thanks for having me, Kevin. God bless everyone on the call. Thank you for taking the time to be here. My name is Shoni Dell. I've been a good friend and I would say student slash peer mentor with Kevin on and off for, my God, it's been 8 years. And then nonprofit industry. And our whole goal was to design a smart pipeline that would streamline getting students into the door, getting their foot into the door, getting them into a company, getting them some footing within the industries of what they actually studied in the media and art, uh, rather
Joni, I'm
than
gonna make a
going nowhere.
suggestion, Sony, because
So
Shoni, I'm gonna make a suggestion because
sure.
you're breaking up a little bit because I know you have some bandwidth issues. We now see you, but I think for the sacrifice of what you have to say, maybe cut your video and see if that's any better because you're breaking up a little bit.
Okay, is that any better?
Lots better. So take it from the top.
Oh my gosh. On the top. All right. Well, um, God bless everyone who's joined this call. Thank you for taking the time to be here. It's a blessing to have you. My name is Shoni Doe, and I've been a longtime friend and just I want to say peer-to-peer mentor with Kevin because he's mentored me, and I'd like to assume I've helped mentor him on some things, but and for the better part of 8 years in Dakar, working to design and create events and programs that would act as a smart pipeline and launchpad for students to go from zero to little to being fully equipped to be a producer, to work on sets, and to handle that industry and know how to pitch and how to network, the soft skills and the hard skills, to then be able to get your foot into the door at the end of that pipeline. And that's something that we have both worked on tirelessly for a very long time. At the moment, I am currently a full time um, writer and producer out here in Palmdale, and I've been listening to just all the things that are going on for the projects you guys got laid out up until September with the all the different ideas for the shows and how to capture it. And there's just so many different moving parts of the project that needed to be factored in just to kind of give an overview to make sure we're all on the same page. From the sponsorships needing to be taken into account to a pitch deck needing to get put together for a show that not only needs to document what we're doing, but at the same time be compelling and entertaining enough to be streamlined and shown in classrooms that we have access to garner more interest. And at the same time, we want to bring a return on investment for the project that we're doing. So that way, we can continue funding the next one and the next one. And so these were the different components I was playing around with, as well as the student agency, as that has always been kind of my vocal lens, old, where I've been working with Kevin on ensuring that student voice advocacy and last but not least, actual participation is involved. It's actually happening within the program. They're actually learning and things are actually going towards them developing the career. With that in mind, the following document that we put together, let me see if I can upload a document if it'll allow me. Oh,
I can share screen if you want to.
okay, yeah. Let me send you the document.
Okay. Well, you have
Here's
screen
some
sharing now if you want to do if you just want to put it into your screen, your desktop. I think you
Okay, let me see. I'm gonna try getting connected to it. I'm trying to get into Zoom call on my computer so I can share it with you. But let me see if I can share it here. Share.
I'm going to stop sharing for a second to
It
make
says
sure
only
that
hosts can share.
no, I'm going to do sound, share sound, and then multiple. Okay, what about now?
Okay.
Like, you see multiple? Okay, nope, multiple. Should be sound and multiple are activated.
Hold on. I just managed to connect. Do you see me in the waiting room?
Uh-oh, wait a minute. Actually, I'm going to get out of stop share. Nope, don't see you in the waiting room. So you're trying to come back in.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
don't see
An
you.
hour.
And
All right. So
guys, we all
what
got to
I'll
get
do,
better. Okay,
Kevin,
okay, go ahead.
is I'll go ahead and email them to you right now. That way you can just open it up on your computer.
Okay.
Share and export.
And Wyken, when he emails to me, I'm going to email to you, and then you can take over sharing desktop. I'm going to look at these Zoom presentations really as a real live production now. So imagine that we're on air and we've got an audience of hundreds of thousands of people. We're going to have a whole crew, all hands on deck, making sure that we're on time, we're ready to go, lights, camera, action, and all functions of everything that we're going to put into this Zoom or our presentation are there. So from this point forward, every Zoom call should look like it should be something broadcast out to the marketplace. And if it's not that way, then we're not even get close to ready. And so one of the things I'm going to do is we're going to have everybody start working on putting together their own Zoom presentation. So it's a very important process in learning how to plan and execute a successful Zoom meeting with all the production elements that you can do to put inside of your Zoom to make us aware that you're able to understand from beginning to end what a successful presentation should look like. Okay, all right, let me
All
stop
right.
talking.
So
Did you
I
send it to my
just,
iPatriots or Z?
yeah,
Which?
iPatriots.
Oh, okay, sorry, I was looking at the other one. So hold on a second. I'm sorry about that.
It's all right.
I got all these email addresses.
And then to make it easier for everyone as well, I'm going to share a link in the Zoom chat. That way everyone has access to the document to read at their own pace. So need it. You guys see that?
I still don't see it. Wait a minute. Okay, yeah, I see it now. I'm sorry. It was get sent to another place. Okay.
That's all
So
good.
so Wyken, I'm sending this to you, and if you can take this and put this into
So it's
screen
the
share.
cut, right? Showing you sent Kevin the cut?
Yeah, and I'm sending
Yes,
it
the
to
cut.
you.
Okay, I got you.
I'm sending it to you via iPatriots, not Kevin Clark at Dakar Foundation.org.
Oh, it's fine. He sent it, he put it in the chat, so I have
Oh,
it here for everybody.
okay. Got it. Thank you guys.
So
Okay.
everybody can see the cut, right?
Yeah. Right, I see it. It's
All right,
good.
cool.
All right, and then that second link should be for the example episode. We're not going to go over that, but people can read it. Then season beat is this one. All right, cool. So yeah, going on to the document. Let me turn my phone here so I can see it. Oh, there it is. Yeah, so wow. So me and Kayla sat down and we really started ideating just everything from the last meeting and really trying to put together all the different ideas that were mentioned. And um, we really liked the idea of reality TV. I think someone last time mentioned about using trying to film it similarly to The Office, which is like a mockumentary style, which is basically a documentary, but comedy and half scripted, and it's pretty great. But bring the focus back to this. This is the summer revised it, but this is what she put together. The Cut is a high stakes, hyper professional creative competition that fuses mentorship, production, and industry pitching into a groundbreaking 10-week apprentice program set inside Kevin Hart's studio and armed with red cameras, Adobe tools, and AI powered workflow. 10 talented apprentices vow to prove they have what it takes to lead the next generation of storytellers. So feel free to read what's on screen. Um, and if you have any questions, please raise your hand at any point in time. I like to be interactive. It's feels weird just talking to a phone
Right.
screen.
Well, I have a question. I have a question for the group. Does anybody know what a mockumentary is? If you do, don't raise your hand. Just blurt out your interpretation of a mockumentary.
Well, mockumentary would just be kind of like a parody documentary. It's kind of like, you're telling the life of people, but usually these people are fictional because, they're caricatures of reality in a way. It's almost like almost kind of on the verge of surreal, but it lives in like an uncanny kind of valley almost.
Okay. Anybody else? It
That's a great definition.
is. Very good, Sonny. Anybody else? Okay.
Sunny. Makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you guys hold that thought right now, we're going to bring X in, and Wyken, if you can, actually both Shoni and Wyken, if you guys can repeat what you said about, actually, we start with the working title. Go all the way back to the working title so we can describe to X what we've cooked up here. Okay.
Oh, okay, sure.
So she's
So,
coming in now. So let me bring her in.
Hello, hello.
Hello, X. How's it going?
hello.
Yeah, we
Hey,
Okay.
what's up, X?
we've saved the best for last. We've got our one default project that I think we're going to go with, and we're now presenting the product that we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks. One student facing generated piece of content that has been put into format, and we want to see if we can get some feedback from everybody. And the word that we used was a mockumentary, but it could be other things. And I'm going to have Shoni. Shoni, if you can open your camera so that so X can see you, and then maybe cut it back off. Let's see if you can actually talk and have your camera on at the same time to describe what you and Kayla have worked on.
Hey, I don't know, can you see me
Yeah, we can see you. We can see you.
and hear me? It's not cutting out yet.
You're good, man. Keep going until, hey, right now we're gold.
Okay. Hi, X. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Shoni. Um, right. So, what we have put together here is a reality TV show pilot um, called The Cut, and it's where creative vision meets industry precision. The Cut is a high stakes a hyper professional creative competition that fuses mentorship, media production, and industry pitching into a groundbreaking 10-week apprenticeship program set inside Kevin Hart's studio and armed with red cameras, Adobe tools, and AI powered workflows. 10 talented apprentices battle to prove that they have what it takes to lead the next generation of storytellers. Each episode tests their leadership, vision, and collaborative execution, from covering the events to producing branded content short films. Under the pressure of time, resources, and industry scrutiny, they'll be mentored by working professionals and challenged to build pitch-ready media products. By the season finale, each apprentice will have the opportunity to step out of the team's shadow and pinch their own original concept, a film, show, or digital IP in a one-on-one industry pitch showdown. These individual pitches are scored on impact, clarity, vision, and professional readiness. We have a cash prize at the end, 10K for the top and 5K for those for the second. And then and it's all based on the final pitch performance plus the accumulated impact throughout the series of the individual selected for the prizes. Now, with all of that being said, the main core concept here, in terms of making it a reality TV show, is that I saw the potential of making something akin to Hell's Kitchen meets Shark Tank, but with the main structure and formatting of The Apprentice by Donald Trump. And that those combination of shows all work really well in getting people invested into the students, or the, in our case, students, but in the participants' journey into winning this competition. The only difference between that and ours is more educational based, because we're a program at the end of the day that is trying to give students an opportunity to learn and to grow, to develop, and at the end of the day, get their foot in the door. So no one gets kicked off, no one is removed from the team. It's about leadership, and those who fail, they get to be placed as the assistant to the leader, where they get the chance to learn more. And no one person is allowed to be the leader for 2 times consecutively, as we want to give as many opportunities out throughout the actual learning process and program. The way that this show works and the way that I picked out this specifically is because my hope is that it only needs to be funded once, and then from there on out, through royalties and streaming services, it, it can just start funding itself. For combined with sponsorships, but that was just a side of it. The other side is I want to ensure that we also incorporated our sponsors and mentors into the curriculum, and formatting it as a reality TV show also just adds more stakes to it, because we want to be putting this out into classrooms for people to watch, for students to watch, and that's a great buy-in for them, because they're watching students like them get on the show, have the opportunity, be able to fail and still continue to grow and potentially win cash prizes, network, and meet lots of crazy cool people within the film industry and get their toes wet, and learn a whole bunch of skills. So it's a huge buy for them to tune in and to watch and get invested, and even to apply themselves into future programming. So that's what's all packed into this idea. Um, if you scroll down further, there's actually the outline of it, but I kind of want to pause here because I just spoke a lot, and that's a lot to process. If anyone has any questions or comments or thoughts at this point in time, please share.
Okay, Wyken, can you scroll down at least to the show format overview so we can take a look at it as people may have some questions? Okay, Brayton, you're muted, Brayton.
Thank you, Kevin. I do have some questions. First question I have is, what is your target audience for the show?
Well, Shane,
I'm
Shane, go
aiming
ahead,
and
Shoney.
shooting for, well, in terms of age range, I think 16 plus. In terms of the demographic, I'm really targeting the youth, and I'm really shooting for Basically everyone and their who's on social media trying to grow their social media channel and be something other than their 9 to 5. So, because there's a lot of hopes and dreamers out there who want to get their foot in the industry, especially out here in America, that I feel like would tune in this. So that's like my rough demographic. Again, this is something I kind of threw together. Um, I haven't done any proper market research just yet, but this is just based off of all the factors that we have at play and what we're trying to achieve. I hope that answers your question.
Okay. Oh, I have a question.
I would
I have a question. This is for Shoni and for Kayla. I really appreciate you guys collaborating together. Can you share, if anything, with us what that process was like, and maybe Kayla, if you can maybe talk about what you participated in and how that felt, working with somebody you never met before.
Ladies first, the floor is yours.
So we connected and we have been going back and forth on like the ideas or the main centralized idea. And with the information I gather and Shoni's perspective or input into this, we came out with like what can the show bring into this story with the apprentices, to who the people that we're focused on, and how we're going to showcase the setting. In reality, we started off meeting and coming up with the pitch, um, the pitch information. I came up with the details based on the shows that I watched, but also what I had already generated based on my input, because I didn't use just AI. I actually used my idea, input it to generate it with AI to kind of help the structure of it. And I was just, talking to him, and he was telling me, so who's the target audience? What is it that we're using? Who is going to be focused in the show? Uh, how are we going to connect, and what's going to be pursued? And so I was actually bringing in a centralized goal, like from the 10 apprentices. So not to make it so like of so much more, like not have more people than what we can work with right now. 10 apprentices divided into teams, assigned projects that test their skills on different areas of film or entertainment industry, like writing, directing, producing, cinematography, editing, or technology. Each episode will feature a new challenge as to how people are growing and evolving in the industry in this program, how they're connecting with mentors and industry experts or even guests that provide guidance and feedback. And then I also put in the idea of awards, like kind of like these pitch film, like in the finale is gonna like have like a short film festival challenge, but there can be awards that can be added to best writer or best director, best producer, best editor, even actors who are at, as well acting in through this show, industry innovators who emerge into technologies, because there's also technology based side. Maybe there can be administrative credits as well. And then other like episode ideas will be like each episode is going to feature challenges that where apprentices are working, connecting with the individuals or in teams, completing projects with mentors and their colleagues or apprentices directly, providing feedback and guidance to understand how they can improve themselves, what are things that they can do to learn and grow into how they're working and what they're doing. And they're going to be evaluated on performance, like it was mentioned, clarity, vision. Um, and the winners are going to be announced in each category. So kind of like everybody has a different area of expertise or area of knowledge, and everybody's working in a certain area to grow, make it competitive, but at the same time collaborative. and not just centralized into one aspect, but into different areas. And the last, like the goals can be apprentices who win in their respective categories, or like in the final season, they can actually win like these awards. I know into Shoni's final goal, he mentioned that there's going to be a 15,000 prize, which could be the case, but then um, I think that everybody who's working on this and participating can showcase like their work to top companies, or just expose themselves and present network to other entertainment areas, or like showcase to their audience what they built for any job placement or partnerships, and have the opportunity to meet with each of the apprentices, or just the winners would make the actual price and meet the actual price, and then discussion of potential job opportunities. But
Yeah.
like how he set it up is good because it has the centralized goal and focus.
Great.
I
So,
can
And
okay, from this point on, let's raise hands, because I know that I have a couple of questions, but let's raise hands to recognize some order for anybody who wants to jump in. If Shoni, if you want to jump in, or Kayla, you guys jump in without
I
anybody.
wanted to mention
oh,
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, no, it's all good. I was just trying to say that could you scroll down a little bit further on down the page? And then I was going to mention how I made sure to, when we were talking, to incorporate as many opportunities for the students to, at the end of every episode, be able to pitch their ideas on handle different projects for the upcoming episodes. That way, everyone has the chance to take a leadership role and to refine their skills of pitching and putting together a pitch deck, from rapid ideation, development, and deployment. And then moving into the finale, it's their own original idea. It's not for a project that's a part of the pipeline or part of any of the challenges. It's for the students to all have the opportunity to do that. The only reason why we included the cash prize bonus in there is because we can't promise that any one of these students are going to get their thing picked up. We can't promise that they're going to get their foot in the door, and we can't promise that they're going to be able to get a career launch through this. We hope that it happens. We put it all together, but at the end of the day, there's so many factors out of our control. And so for me, the cash prize is something that we can control. And that's the reason why it's included. So that way, even if no one gets their idea or pitch picked up, at least somebody out of that group has gotten some type of monetary reward for all the efforts that they put into it. And that's pretty much my last thought. I'm going to throw the floor back to you.
Okay. So raise hands. Either Kayla or Shoni can jump in at any point to respond. So I'm going to recognize Sienna, if you go first, and then I think Brayton right after that.
Can I go after Brayden? I can't raise my hand because I'm sharing screen. I can't I can't raise my hand because I'm sharing screen. Can I go after
Go
Brayden?
ahead. Right after Brayton. All right, go ahead, Sienna.
I'm a little bit confused. So the idea is the idea to use our apprentices for that format, or would we look for external people and we'd be more in the background producing the show? So I'm a little bit confused about the concept, like what the idea is in terms of the apprentices.
Well, I guess I won't raise my hand, but I'll jump in. The structure of the apprentices being used to have the learning working by doing is really a key part of what I think we can pick up pretty important content to show how the structure of apprenticeship is helping folks, rather than providing a free-for-all of trying to really herd all these different personalities and people into a timeline and a through line of getting something done. So I think we're going to be working with the people who have been onboarded, have been approved by the apprenticeship standards. Plus, we have rules now and regulations that I'll be sharing with everybody as to who an apprentice is, which will really, again, provide more structure. Also, it will provide potentially for us to, again, work towards our goal of getting more funding so we can either increase the prize packages for all people concerned and be internalized by all the people who want to know more about the efficacy of apprenticeship. So apprenticeship could also be really a partner, sponsor, or advertiser. So in this order, Cyan, did we answer your question?
Yeah, so we use our apprentices basically, and
Yes.
everybody who's not an apprentice. And are the apprentices is it everybody under 24? Is that like
No, it's everybody. It's anybody from 16 to 80 or even over. Anybody who's been brought onto the program as a structured apprentice and has been vetted by all those processes that we're going to bring in. Okay, and let's keep these short because we're going to run out of time. Brayton next. Go ahead, Brayton.
Thank you, Kevin. So when it comes to the show like this and continuously, how do you expect the retention of, 16 plus people or a 16 plus to be consistently and continuously wanting to watch the show?
Right. Well, I don't know if Sonny or excuse me, I don't know if Shoni or Kayla have any answers for that, but I'll tell you what mine are. So if either one of you guys want to respond to that question.
Sure. Real quick before I answer yours, just to go back to the previous question I was trying to also add input on, was that the apprentices already enrolled will be the core focus, and the idea is to get the funding to be able to pay for an external crew to really do the filming and the editing, because we just want the students to focus on the programming and the learning, not the actual production that's going on, as they're going to be doing plenty of production themselves, and that's a lot to put on someone's plate, while also expecting them to attend school and maybe have a job and a life outside of this stuff. This is just too much to ask of a person.
Very
So
good point.
that's how I would address that. And then in terms of how to go through attention, to answer your question, I have some ideas, but I have anything. This right here that you're looking at is literally draft number one, and it was conceptualized and written all in one night last night. So I haven't had the chance to really sit down and go through it and delve into it deeply to really design the workflow for the camera work, the music, how to retain attention, the visuals. I haven't really figured out all those components. That's partially why we're having this meeting, to figure this stuff out so that we can refine it. So if you have some ideas and suggestions, I'm all ears.
Yeah, I'll just keep it brief, as per Kevin's intentions. Definitely imbibing for the educational things, definitely imbibing for the competition, but I would say definitely create some type of suspense. It doesn't have to be elimination, but I think that adding some suspense and to make it more like, oh my gosh, like this is coming to the edge of my seat. It's almost like, Hell's Kitchen, Shark Tank, all those reality show competitions where there's building up some sort of suspense. Like sometimes you just don't know what's gonna happen. But also some comedy will also be fun.
Oh, if you're
Good point.
talking about suspense building, um, the two things that I've incorporated in there, the first one being the Shark Tank like aspect of things at the end of each one, because everyone is sitting down, they're working hard, they're putting together this thing, and one team's going to get selected, one team's not going to get selected. And the team that doesn't get selected, obviously, there's going to be some type of, um, not necessarily like punishment, but similarly to Hell's Kitchen, where they're set to like millennial tasks or cleanup duty and things like that. Whereas the winning team gets to go out and have this lavish meal or a helicopter ride. Obviously, ours aren't going to be that lavish. Um, Depends on the budget that we get allocated, but kind of like a carrot and stick. That's one thing that's incorporated into that. The second thing is the rights that the losers lose. The losing team isn't allowed to pitch. Well, the bottom of the loop, the lowest is the best way to.
Okay, that answers my question. I'm going to put my email in the chat so that if you want any help towards the project, you're more than welcome to collaborate with me on it.
Right. Before we get to X, this is exactly what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I didn't know that I was looking for some organic way to rally around one thing where everybody can start to collaborate. So, Shoni and Kayla. Oh, I think okay. Wait a minute, Sonny. Okay, you'll be next. But yeah, this is what I'm trying to get accomplished: is people, instead of being siloed on Zooms and doing all the other things, we now have something that we can potentially rally around, where everybody can see themselves in. At some point, they'll get a chance to pitch their own project. But this is the one house that I think we can all imagine that we can have a room inside of. So, until I can find something better, Brayden, I appreciate you saying, hey, I want in. I want to try and be part of the building and designing of this thing. And, we want everybody who's on the call to figure out some way to participate. And that's my wish, is for everybody to have at least an email or some insertion into the chat about what they believe that they can do to get their hands dirty.
So Kevin, if I may, one of my questions, and these are most pressing questions that nobody's asked so far, when are we considering to shoot this? Because my whole thing with this series, this to me sounds like a capstone towards the end of the program. I want to be completely honest with just the past couple events, how we shot the lap back. Are we skilled enough as a group right now to shoot something like this, or
Absolutely
to even
not.
participate in something like this?
I'm going to jump in.
Hold on, Kevin, if I may. We really need to focus on just shooting stuff and the curriculum from this point on, creating a training course that's going to lead to something like this. Because right now, if I were to throw you guys in, and I agree with Shoni and Kayla, this is amazing. What you guys did is absolutely fundamentally dope. Like, I agree with you guys 100% of the way. My thing is that I think that we're diving into the deep end, and I want everybody to be able to swim before we dive into something like this. So we got to really lead up to this with curriculum, courses, mentorship, partnership. We have to learn how to work with each other with the cameras that we have now, because if we go out there and we're using red cameras that, only one person knows how to use, what happens to all those other teams that don't have the capabilities and the skill set, right? What happens when you have somebody like I'm gonna be honest, when you have somebody like a Keon who's like mad talented and dope and is like can create like a whole pilot? Well, his team's gonna look stacked if everybody else that he's competing with isn't on his level. So we got to turn everybody else into, like what Kevin was saying, a producer editor, right? So that way we all have the same shared capabilities to make this show even doper, because the ideas that we have are going to be magnified by our skill sets and the know-how that we've already established in the pre-production work that we did leading up to this, right? So we should just do smaller events and smaller productions leading up to this. I'm in love with the idea. I think what you guys did is amazing. But my real thing as a mentor and a youth ambassador is the educational process. And I think as a team, this is something that we end off on, and we lead up to this with smaller projects.
So, Sonny, I agree. But I for the sake of time, I want to get to a couple of the people that have their hands up. X, if you can jump in based on everything you've heard.
Yeah, real quick. So I love the idea of having the dual play of creating content while also capturing the process of creating content, right? And having that dual play to have more output. I'm not sure if a cash competition is the right way to incentivize that. This last week, I just met with the heads of basically every major video generation platform. So my old boss at Google is overall at Gemini Models. I had a chat with her about Veo 3. I met with the CEO of Luma Labs, which owns Dream Machine. I met with the CEO of FreePic, which is one of like the consolidators of all the AI. I have a call in a few minutes with Higgsfield AI, right? All of these groups do not have any strategy when it comes to youth. And a lot of them actually have internal mandates that they can't work with youth because of privacy policy or concerns or things like that. So I think if we're looking at integrating AI tools into the pipeline, then we use the AI tools as the incentive, right? So meaning you go in this competition, you win a year premium subscription to Dream Machine or to Google Premium or something like that. And for them, that's nothing. But then it takes out that literal cash competition element of it, which would still allow them to win something valuable to be used, but then wouldn't require maybe the same level of risk with cash. And I also agree with Sunny that we have to make sure that students know how to use the tools along the way with the education. And that's something that at least those kinds of companies will come and provide. Like they'll bring that stuff to teach people how to do it. But I think timing, you want to make sure that the output is quality, not only for the kids to feel like they made something that they're proud of, but for the partners and sponsors to feel like what they're pouring their money and resources into is producing high quality stuff. Right? Because ultimately that's what it's about for them, is adoption and about visibility. And so if we can shift this to where the output we can guarantee is going to be high quality and something that they're going to want to showcase, then I think we'll be able to bring a lot more partners to the table with capital, with resources, and those educational components, as long as we have a structure for them to fill in the blanks.
Great. Oh, wow.
How that works.
Yeah. And again, what I came off of yesterday from the DEW conference is that these AI tools and all the other iterations of them that are coming down the pike, we've got to be able to start socializing with people. The pricelessness, if you will, of these AI tools and strategies are worth more than cash. And I know, Shoni, you know that these are priceless, but the incentive, I guess, to try to educate people that AI tools can maybe replace the cash, even the digital cash that we all need, is one of our milestones. And
so just for context, the Prime Minister of Trinidad is giving away 18,000 laptops to youth on the island. And so I'm working on behalf of him to build partnerships with these AI companies to get them to give subscriptions away to the kids. So that's where so I had conversations about that, and also was like, and do you want to do stuff in LA? We could do a youth film festival competition. We could do, some type of apprenticeship program, or you guys could have people that are like Sunny, where they're youth ambassadors that become paid ambassadors for your company, right? Or do some type of media spot where we have like a Pepsi does an AI generation challenge for ads, where it's a combination of AI and in real life stuff, but they're all open to it. They just don't have the community partners. So if it's a matter of me just connecting them with you, Kevin, I'm happy to do that. If it's a matter of us coming up with like 5 versions of this from what we want from them, so we can pick one strategic partner who can fund everything, we can also figure that out as well. So happy to chat with you about that offline.
Right. No, I know you have to jump X, but I was going to say with regards to whatever we decide to shoot, I'm going to invest out of my own pocket. The shooters, the editors.
You don't even have to do that. They'll pay for it. They all have budget. These companies have raised $250 to $300 million. They have marketing budgets and no partners to get them in with youth. All of them.
Wow. Okay.
So Kevin, also too, like I was talking to you about yesterday, with the access to these cameras and really building out that creative portfolio and going after these primo kind of contents, working with Jeep, working with SoFi Stadium. I mean, these are all things that, like, include working with X as well, we can lead up to with the training. And I think the training module right now really just needs to be a little bit more hands-on. And I'm urging everybody in this call, especially our apprentices, to just start showing up in person to more of these activations. Chris is actively giving out his apartment, and he has a Red camera there. So I'm going to start going there in person and learning how to build a Red camera, filming myself how to build a Red camera, talking about how to film a Red camera so I can give it back to you guys. So that way we can show up in person, do it together, learn from it, and then pass it on to the next people who are going to be in this apprenticeship. But it takes us showing up and doing the hard work. And right now we have so many dope capabilities. Like just what if you just heard what X said alone, I mean, come on, like the gears are already turning. So we have to now turn that creativity and passion into an actual product. And before we get into the weeds of what that product is, let's learn how to do it together as a team successfully and with compassion and understanding.
Okay, so I just have one thing to add to what Sunny was saying, because it was like, I agree with your point if we're talking about timelines here, because that is a lot to kind of condense. I'm not sure if you've read the document just yet, but just in case, I was trying to build it to where the education is happening in real time, but I also see your concerns that the skill levels on the entrance upon getting into it could be vastly different, which would throw off the competition towards this guy automatically winning or that guy automatically winning. So I get that. So I'd ask that you kind of take a look at that whole thing and compile your thoughts and notes on it, because I'd like to have a more in-depth conversation. Right now, I have to get ready for work, and then and we can kind of pour over the structure leading up to it, what kind of skill sets are required, so that we can formulate something that we can put together for the program.
And Shoney,
Well,
and Shoney, I agree with you.
and guys, this is great
We should connect in
activation.
chain.
This is a great activation, because what I want to do now is give ourselves a 1 hour time limit on these calls, so that we can learn definitely how to conduct a Zoom call within an hour is really the goal. But I'm going to give another 5 minutes. So if we can get 30-second sound bites in from people before this thing goes off, and we're going to try to work towards getting everybody to speak up, because we failed in getting through this thing. So Kayla, 30 seconds.
Oh,
I just wanted to mention also Becker pitched in for the Office show and within the behind the cameras. That was another thing that could be implemented on the show as his idea.
Okay. Thank you, Becker.
Just an idea.
Well, no. These calls are being recorded. These are minutes for the nonprofit. So again, anybody that shows up in the Zoom call is going to be recognized, and everybody will obviously realize when they're recognized what happens next. So Keon, real quick, 30 seconds.
Yeah. So I mean, I really do want to legit answer this, and I know this isn't an individual project like or whatever, but I just kind of have an individual question, if you don't mind.
Go ahead, real quick.
Yeah. So what about people like me who joined this apprenticeship late, who basically already have a show that they're working on, where I actually have a full pilot script, like I said, a pitch deck, a proof of concept, along with behind the scenes footage? How would this program be able to help me get to my vision in that sense? And does this even apply to me as far as, because like I said, I joined late, but then also there's some people who may have been at different levels and all these different aspects. Like, I just want to know how like this will be able to correlate.
Okay, Shoni, can you address that? Because I think I heard a component of it giving everybody a chance to pitch their own show.
Yes, everybody does. So the way that I am envisioning the program to work is that pitch deck and your writing is being refined through miniature projects and mentorship side by side. Creating a deck, creating a shot list, creating your script for and it can be applied to a variety of things. I've done it for covering live events. I've done it for documentaries. I've done it for short films. I've done it for TV show pilots. So all of those components are used for all these different pitches. It's all the same thing. It's just a different presentation in a different outline. That's literally all it is, in a different type of script format. And then by the end of it, you get your opportunity. You have refined through this course, you have refined your abilities to put together these different components of a pitch, different components of writing a script, and you can refine your own project and then pitch it to these big execs to get funded. And that was the big payoff for every single student. Every single student at the end gets the chance at the batting cage to take the swing. So, and to get funded. The cash prize was just there as like, hey, well, this guy worked really hard. If it was me and I was in that position, I would love for someone to be like, look, you can make the cut, but hey, here's this, go make your thing happen. But I can also see giving free subscriptions and like equipment, sure, but that doesn't fund the dream in my mind. As a indie filmmaker, producer, that doesn't fund the dream. Money does,
right.
Unfortunately.
Right. And we're gonna try to table. We're gonna try to figure out, a dual or multi tracks to get people incentivized, motivized, competing for things that they actually really need. I know everybody has a different end zone for how they're going to get their unmet needs met.
I think a good medium right now, instead of a cash prize, the top winner, regardless if he gets his thing funded or not, they're going to get their thing made by the nonprofit and those who have participated in the program.
And I was going to say it's my job to try to make sure that if somebody has all of the things that the that the people who are going to be the panel to look at what is going to be the number 1, 2, or 3 projects. It's my job to get those things in front of the investors and not only get 5,000 or 10,000 or whatever dollars, but get everything we need to make sure that the budget is everything it needs to get to development. And whatever those other iterations of that script or development of that project would be, is to follow it all the way through, if it's that good. Because $5,000 isn't going to get you anywhere, or 10,000.
Yeah, it doesn't, but it does help.
It does. It does. Okay.
does help.
So Keon, you'll take us
I hope
out.
that answered your question.
Sure. Go ahead, Keon.
Oh no, my fault. My hand was not low.
Okay. All right. So with the 60 seconds we have remaining, I will send out some other additional notes before Monday. We're going to do a wraparound meeting again after action review, because I didn't get to any of the things that I wanted to present about people getting paid for work they did at UCLA, as well as to get some additional updates about things that have become resources that I want to share with you guys. Didn't get a chance to put that in. So next Monday, if you're available at 12 noon, if you want to hear new resources that include cash for everybody, as well as people worked on the UCLA projects, tune in next Monday. I will send out that recurring Monday meeting. Friday meetings, hopefully, eventually will become in-person meetings. But every Friday and Monday at 12 noon, we're going to try to keep a schedule of getting people together so that we can hammer out what we're going to work on together as an apprenticeship collaborative production company. So with that, I'm going to take us out. Everybody have a great Memorial Day weekend. I'm not going to do the meeting on Monday since it's a holiday, so I'm going to try to shoot it for Tuesday at 12. I'll change that one. And again, keep those people and their families who, again, lost people and the sacrifice of all the freedoms that we're going to enjoy this weekend. Thank everybody for joining.
God bless.
Appreciate you, Kevin. Thank you.